Traffic was bad, technical difficulties. I got to do some stuff on the computer, but we're going live on the iPhone, so you can see the screen behind me. Great. If you can't, it's okay. You're still going to hear a bunch of good knowledge. But we're about to start the course here, but we were just talking about, I'm sorry, what were we talking about? Right, oh, purchasing and not paying. So we were talking a story where an investor bought a property that was what he thought was a nice house in the nicest zip code in San Antonio, 78209, beautiful home. You know, the home in the picture was a home that was valued probably like at $750,000, $800,000. Beautiful home, 78209 San Antonio. And it showed an address, it showed the picture and all that. But if you didn't go research the property, it was just a slither of land next to the really nice home that this guy and two people were competing for. And they're going back and forth. It started like at 1,800 or something. It got driven all the way up to 21,000. The guy wouldn't do it for 21,000. And I'm like, shit, I don't think he knows. So I went and talked with him and told him, this is what you really bought, and this is what you could do differently to get out of this and not have to pay the county this. But they're going to bar you from future auctions, and they could issue you a misdemeanor. They could issue you a fine. So make sure that when you're competing out there, you're definitely you know what you're looking at, so you don't get in trouble or getting a bad purchase like that. Okay, but then in the free workshop, two, we had also covered the redemption period, what they get if they redeem, which is a 25% in year one, a 50% return in year two. But we also know that the likelihood of anybody ever really redeeming is none, right? None. So if anybody out there says that, oh man, you're going to get great returns on the redemptions, remember that we're not, because the redemptions hardly ever happen, right? They were already so much behind in taxes. You know, they need to come up with all those back tax years plus whatever it went and got bid up to, plus the interest. They hardly ever happen, right? Never happened to me. Never happened to anybody I know that does this actively. Somebody has had a property redeemed on out there, and you'd like to bring it forward, let me know. Okay, and then we were talking about how you go down there and register for the auction. So you got that covered. You're good for 90 days on that in Bexar County. Then you'll just have to go get a new one if you choose to continue on. And you're current on all your property taxes, because they check that. So that's one of the things. You want to make sure that you're always current on your taxes, up to date. If you have several properties, this can happen where you're like, oh man, I got to come up, right? Like this past tax year, I had to come up with a big amount. I was like, man. So always keep your taxes up to date. If you fall behind, they won't let you register. All right, let's get into researching some of these. Let's go to the Line Barger site. You know how to get there? You've looked this up before? Okay, there's the one, yeah. The one we were looking at the other day. On the course? Okay, so when you have that course open there, it's going to show you where do I find the list for all the different tax deeds in Texas. So the majority of the big ones that we're going to look at today and where you're going to be shopping is here in Bexar County, but Bexar County, Dallas, Waco, Fort Worth, Corpus Christi, the Valley, the bigger places do them all on that Line Barger site, the Line Barger site. Some of the smaller counties around here, like Gillespie, Atascosa, Guadalupe, they'll be on that MVBA law. scroll down a little bit on that? And did you see the MVBA one? And if you click on that MVBA video, it'll take you through that. It'll be a whole video of me just screen sharing how you go through that whole process. Yeah, you can get a line barter now. And then there's Purdue and Brandon, which is another site that works for other smaller counties in Texas. If at the end of the day you don't know, if you're going to go shop somewhere and you can't find the list, you can't find the property, the easiest way to do it is to call the property tax assessor directly. Right? Every county has a property tax assessor. Google the number, call them. Hey, when do you hold your tax delinquent sales? Smaller counties don't do them every month, like big counties, like here in San Antonio, every month. They didn't do one last month for some reason. I don't know why. But it doesn't matter. Every month. Houston, every single month. Waco, every month. Dallas, every month. Houston, the big cities have them every month. The smaller counties, like I was saying, Gillespie, Guadalupe, Atascosa, where some of these other small towns are, they do theirs like every 3 months. Sometimes they just do them once a year, just because they don't have as many. But if you certainly want to look in counties surrounding, major cities, that's always a strategy too, especially in up-and-coming areas, right? Especially in up-and-coming areas. Account number. Account number. Yep. So you're on line barter right now? Okay, let's open up that bear list for this month. That buyer beware, when it comes up, is just telling us everything that we should know. That if there's a picture there that shows a house, doesn't mean it's a house. Right? It could be a slither of land next to the house. Could be a piece of a parcel of land behind the house. That's just the county. They go, whatever picture shows in the front, that's what they take. You know what I mean? So it can be deceiving, but they're telling you that right here. Make sure you know how to research these, do your due diligence. Don't rely solely on these photos or even these addresses sometimes. That's why we search by account numbers. That's why we search by account numbers here. We'll click agree. Did you see that too? Okay. And then sale date right here, we'll click on February 7th. The status is going to tell us which ones are either canceled or scheduled for auction. If it's been canceled, that means that they came back, they worked it out, paid the taxes off, so it's been removed from the auction. It won't be going there. So whenever you see this, stop researching any property or anything you're thinking about that property. Just leave it alone. At that point, you'll be wasting time. So when I go to status here, I'm going to click and do the ones that are still scheduled for auction. So of the 22 that went for auction this month here in Bexar County, 16 of them are still scheduled for auction. And today is, it's the 28th, so we're about 9 days out from the auction. So right now, I wouldn't even go inspect these. I do everything the Thursday and Friday right before the auction. The Thursday and Friday right before the auction. Because, yep, you get canceled. I don't want to do all this work beforehand and then come up on the Wednesday, like let's say I do all this as soon as the list comes out, like on the 15th of the month when the list comes up, the minimum bids come up on all 22 properties that were here. I went and researched 12 of them, right, that I liked. I went and looked at them. I went and pulled the suits, did all the research. Spent hours doing that. And then come a week before the auction, and of the 22, only 12 are remaining. Right? So the ones I did all that work on, maybe only 6 of them are still there. When really I could have just waited to the Thursday and Friday before. Whatever's up right before this Thursday, this Friday, before the auction, is usually there at the auction.
So the auction right here, so this could still come back to whatever all the way. That's the auction up.
Up till the morning of, yep. Till the morning of, yep. Till the morning of, yep. But you try to give yourself that smallest amount of window, you know what I mean, to do it in. Because if you're looking them up there Thursday, Friday before, it's only a few days right before the auction. They're running out of time. Their window's closing for them to go pay back. Have I researched properties Thursday, Friday, and then showed up on Tuesday, and they were pulled, some of them? Yep, it's happened, but it's just part of the process. But that gives yourself the best bet, right? So do them, that Thursday, that Friday before. You could even do them that Monday before, but anything can happen on a Monday. Shit could go sideways in your life, or something could come up at work, and you can't go do the research, and then you're screwed because the auction's Tuesday morning. So I do them that Thursday, Friday before. Gives me 2 days of comfortably doing the real research on them. But yeah, that's one of the strategies that I'll do too here that I tell all my students is when the list comes up on the 15th, on the Linebarger list, I open it up, I'll look at it, right, and I'll see 22 properties or whatever, and I just kind of skim through it. I'll look at some of the zip codes, some of the addresses maybe, and I'll kind of get an idea of where some of them are at, maybe what they look like. Do a Google search of the area. Maybe I'll do that. And then that's it. I don't look at them again for like another week, right? So the list will come out on the 15th, 16th. I'll look at them, skim through it. About a week later, 22nd, 23rd, whatever, I'll take another look at the list. I'll see of the 22 properties, what's still on there. Right? Well, right here, we're on the 28th. 6 of them fell off. 6 of them fell off. And these were falling off about a week ago, too, because I ran this and it was already down to 16. So you'll see that, okay, a week later, even more fell off. Now, what I do at that point is once I see what's there, then I'll look at them a little bit closer, and then I'm going to start doing, on the ones I still like that are still up, I'll do some computer research work, which we're going to cover here in a minute. But that's what I'll do. And then the week before the auction, that Thursday and Friday right before the auction, I look again, what's still up of the ones that I did my computer work on. Okay, they're all still up, or of the 6 that I did, only 4 are up, right? Say if only 4 are up, okay, that Thursday, that Friday, I only got to go look at 4 properties in person, and I only got to go find the suits for 4 properties. Right? It's less work to do because it does that. It narrows down. You don't want to go do all that work for 12 properties that you're interested in, but then right before the auction, there's only 4. Right? You're only going to do your work for the 4 that are still remaining there towards the end. Right? Saves you so much time. Saves you so much time.
So hopefully you narrow it down.
Yeah, you're going to look at it on the 15th. You're going to skim through it. You'll take your 5-10 minutes. Okay, you'll have an idea of what you like. Maybe even you set it aside. Whatever system you use, you write them down, or you copy paste it to an email. You send it to yourself, or you have your own way that you manage that, right? You can star some of these on the Linebarger site, and they'll send you out emails. But however you do that, and then the week before, a week after that, like 22nd, 23rd, I'll look at it again. I'll see what's still there. There's some months I look and there's nothing that I like. So I just stop at that point. I'm not going to continue on. But I'll look at the 15th, a week later, I'll see what's still there on the 22nd, 23rd. If there's still the properties that I like there, I'll start to do my computer homework right then and there. And the computer homework that we're going to teach today is real simple. That'll take you only a few more minutes too. It's not a lot of time. And then you'll have okay, shit. Now you know a good amount, about 6 of them. You've done all the research. They still pass all the boxes. They check all the boxes. Okay. I'm not going to go look at them yet. Why? Why would I go spend a day, right? So I'll wait another Thursday, Friday before the auction. Then I'll open it up again. Okay, they're still there. It looks good. Now let me go do my field work on the property. It's kind of 2 days of it, or 2 sessions. It's on the computer kind of work, and then that last one is field work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to save a lot of time with this, doing it this way. You'll save a ton of time. It's crazy because I've seen people, they're at the auctions, and they'll have all the properties and every piece of information for all of them. And I'm like, 10 of those are gone. There was no point in researching all that. It was just wasted time. But I'm sure they end up finding that out later as they continue on with the process. Hey, man, I'm wasting a bunch of time researching all these. Right? I need to just wait because they still have that where they can pay them back. So. Yep. So we'll look at what's on here. So let's open one of these up. Click more details on that one. 408 Shadewell Drive. Okay. 78228. Now this is telling us that the adjudged value, when we look at it there, is $137,210 for this property. Now, one thing that you're going to find out is this adjudged value on these sites can be incorrect or behind, I should say. That's from a previous year. That's the value from a previous year. Most of the time, these lawyer sites that put these up there, the adjudged value, they have it behind a year, 2 years, sometimes 3 or 4 years. So the adjudged value could really be more. And we'll look that up here in a minute, what the current adjudged value of these properties are. But that adjudged value on this Linebarger website or some of the other ones could be off. The adjudged value could be worth more. Could be worth less. You have to know how to look that up. And it's going to tell us the estimated minimum bid. So this one is starting at $87,281.67 minimum bid. I haven't looked at this property. I don't know what the rehab is on it. Maybe it's minimal. Maybe it's a lot. I don't know. Still scheduled for auction. Okay. Here's the account number. This is what we want to use to research properties. So go to Google and then bring up the Bexar County Appraisal District. Is that it? bcad.org, bcad.org, bcad.org. And then grab a piece of paper right there on your notebook, and then I want you to write these letters down. I want you to write these letters down. You can do it just like this to start. Zeals, Z, E, A, L, S. There you go. Yeah, leave some lines so we can kind of fill these in. We're going to go over what each one of these means and why these are super important to just the first step in seeing if we even like these properties. And we're going to continue on and review them again. So these are the zeals, right? The zeals find us the deals. The zeals find us the deals. Okay, and each one of these is it stands for something. This is an acronym. The Z stands for zoning. I'm going to write that next to the Z, zoning. The E stands for exemptions. The A stands for accessibility. Accessibility. And then the L is for location. And then the S is for the size. Size. We want to know the size of these. So these are the key things that I want to find out whenever I'm just doing this simple computer search on these properties is the zeals, right? I want to know the zoning. I want to know the exemptions, the accessibility, the location, and then the size. We're going to go over each one of these now and kind of what they mean, why they're important to us. So you're on that appraisal district site? Okay, cool. So on that site, there's something called online services. And now this is any appraisal district site, right, for any county. Each one's going to have a different way they're laid out, right? Each website is going to be a little different according to the county and how you navigate through it. But ultimately, we're looking for property search on here. So online services, and then here it is right here for us, the county, property search. Click on there. It's going to bring up this search bar. This looks the same in a lot of counties. Some counties it's a little different. But this is where we're now going to take that account number, right, that we have. Then we're going to go research the property to find these deals. Okay, to find each one of these. And we'll go over why that's important. So on this line barter site over here, you know how to copy and paste that account number? Okay, so copy it, and then let's go back to this search bar, and we're going to click advanced right here. And now in Bexar County, you have to do it this way on the site. So here under geographic ID, I want you to paste that account number. Now, if you forget any of this later, it's okay. It's all in the course. Those little videos that I got, you'll click them, and it literally takes us through everything we're doing right now. And, you know, and I'll be talking you through it too, and you'll see the video. You can pause it, go back, you can do all that. But right here on the geographic ID, what we're going to want to do is, if you see out here to the side, how it has the dashes, the dash marks like a phone number, put those dashes in there. Yeah. You see how it has the dashes there? Like a phone number? Put those dashes in. It's real sensitive on making... Quite. Yeah, right. Okay. So now we'll scroll down and we'll do search. Okay. Now we can see that it's 408 Shadewell Drive, 78228. Okay, that account number matches up with the address on the line barter site. Okay, that's a good thing. We want to see that. We want to see that the address, the account number on this both line up with the same thing on the appraisal district site. All right, so they do. We're good right here. Now what we're going to want to do next is we're going to want to click View Details. Okay, I want to click View Details. Okay, cool. Now this is where we're going to be able to find a bunch of useful information about this property. So Z stands for zoning. So zoning of a property or of a piece of land tells us what we can do with it. What we can do with it. You know, you obviously can't drop a business anywhere. You can't drop a single-family home anywhere. Like, there's certain districts and there's certain zonings that everything has. So when we want to see what this property has, we'll see right there it says zoning. And next to it, it says R6. I want to mark that. R6 means residential. With the lot size, with a minimum lot size of 6,000 square feet. NCD 7. Honestly, I don't know what that means, but we can look it up here in a minute. Okay, NCD 7. Okay, that's telling us the zoning of the land, what we're allowed to do with it right now. So it's allowed for a home. That's what we see that's there already. Okay. 408 Shadewell Drive. When we met for the free workshop, did I talk about rezoning, how you can rezone land to make it more valuable? Okay. So zoning is super cool because zoning is one of those things to where, like, especially if I'm picking up lots, right? I'm picking up lots. Let's say, you know, because so many places right now in Texas are expanding. San Antonio like crazy. You've seen all around us, right? Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, Waco, Corpus. Name any city, right? They're all expanding and growing like crazy. Everywhere in Texas is. So, which means we got to fit more people into tighter spaces, right? So, right here around all downtown, most all this was single-family homes. A lot of this was single-family homes, zoned, where you could only put one home there, one door, right? But now, since there's so many people moving here, the city's allowing all these rezonings to multifamily, right? Right? To where before, you know, you would have a whole neighborhood there fighting you, right? Because that's what happens when it goes to rezoning. They got to let all the neighbors know within a radius. and they can go contest it. And if it doesn't match up with what's in the neighborhood or the future plans of the neighborhood, then it won't get approved. But right now, there's so much gentrification and growth there and all that happening that, they're all getting approved whenever you go multifamily down there. Or different usage, commercial, a lot down there as well. But we're able to take something that was a single-family lot, we bought it as single-family, and if it's in an area where that's transitioning into multifamily stuff, we go ask for a rezone. It's like, here it's like $800 for a rezone. Could be different in other counties, but it's like $800 here. We get the rezone, and now it's multifamily, and we could either, according to whatever, drop a quadplex there, or an 8-unit complex, or maybe we could build 3 separate type of row houses on there. Right now we've added more value to just the land by rezoning it. Because hell, now we can put 4 doors on it, 8 doors on it. So where before we could only put 1. Right? Even if I'm not going to develop on it, even if I'm not going to build on it, I'm not going to do anything. Who's doing all that down there? Builders, developers, investors. Cool. I got the land that I picked up super cheap as single family. I went and did some little work on the back end, rezoned it to multifamily, and then boom, now I put it up for sale. Right? And then, yeah, exactly. Right. Right. Or just to another investor. Right? Because there's plenty of investors that are just coming in. They want to pick up a piece of land, multifamily, and build. They see mine's priced fairly, because we get them at such a good price. We did a rezone, right? They don't know any of that. We did it. We're ready to go. We're just selling it as a rezone multifamily plot of land. There you go. I want 140, right? But they just want to pick something up that's with a fair price. And that's the great thing about picking them up this way is because we can go in there and then now sell our lots super competitive. Shit, I could be the lowest price one and I'm still making a great profit. And that's, when I want to unload a piece of land fast, I'll do that. I'll see what the market is charging, right? Let's see what they're charging right here in this specific area for pieces of land per square foot. And then, I'll price mine out per square foot and I'll beat everybody out. I'll come in a little bit lower than everybody else. Because I can. Because I picked it up at such a great rate. And then I rezoned it. And then I decided to sell it. Or sit and hold it. Shit, if you don't need the money, and you pick up a great piece of land, like somewhere that's appreciating like crazy, it's growing like crazy, there's more planned growth, right? We went down to the development services meetings. I talked about that, right, a little bit, right? Let's say we went down to the development services meeting and we know shit, and where I bought these pieces of land, they're getting ready to build some more neighborhoods here, they're building some more complexes over the next 2 to 3 years. Do I want to sell it in a year? Shit, no, I probably want to hang on to that one for like 3 years. Let some of these other developments happen. It's going to keep raising the price of my land. So something I bought for maybe $18,000 at this auction, and I could have sold a year later for $40. Maybe if I just wait 2, 3 more years, now I'm selling it for $70. It just continues to appreciate and grow every year, right? So, but if you have to sell, sell. But if you don't have to, just hang on to it. It's just building more, right? So those are different things that you can do with that. But that's why zoning, and getting back to that, is important, because I could change zoning to make something way more valuable. If I'm a business owner and I want to build a commercial building or build an office for me and find some commercial land, I can easily do that at an auction. Commercial properties go up all the time, right? You can pick up commercial land and drop your own business there, or I can resell to somebody who wants to drop their business there. It's already zoned commercial. So zoning is important when we're looking at land. Yeah. Well, let's see if we can find it. So every county, every city will have its specific zoning codes, right? So we live in Bexar County, but the majority of the work that takes place is within the city of San Antonio, right? So we go to the city of San Antonio Development Services to pull permits, and we got to build according to their zoning. Right? If it's outside of the city limits, shit, man, throw whatever, right? Throw whatever up. I mean, nobody's really, it's not within any city municipality, so there's nobody to go inspect work. And you own 5 acres of land out there in Bexar County or south, you kind of build whatever you want, you know what I mean? Throw septic in, you're good. But within the city, they want us, hey man, you got to keep it within these ways, R6 or NCD7. But right here, we can just look up San Antonio zoning codes. In each city, like Houston, will have their own zoning codes, and however they are, R4, R5, they may have different letterings. So each city will have its own specific zoning codes. But here's ours right here. So we can see, just take it down every one, and there's so many. RP, RE, R20, R6, R5, R4, R3, R2, R1. The R stands for residential. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 stand for square footage per thousand of a minimum lot size. But if you don't know, it's all right here. Right? If you want to look at zoning, you're like, what's R6? Okay, R6 is residential single family. Single family dwelling detached with a minimum lot size of 6,000 square feet. It has to have a minimum lot width of 50 feet. You could build a foster family home there. It could be for public or private school there too. You could do that out of like a daycare. Like if you were going to run like a little mini daycare. That's why you see people run daycares out of there. So, because this allows for it. So knowing the zoning, right? That's why it's important, because I don't want to just buy something and its zoning is like I can't do anything with it, right? Let's say it's like industrial or something, and there used to be a place there that handled hazardous materials. I may not be able to build anything there because it might be the soil is contaminated, right? So we want to know zoning. It's super important. Let's see, this one was NCD 7. NCD, Neighborhood Conservation District. So this is an overlay district designated to protect residential neighborhoods or commercial districts that are worthy of preservation and protection, but which may lack sufficient historical, architectural, or cultural significance to be designated as historic districts at the present time. Okay, so it's a conservation district. This is just an older neighborhood where they want to conserve the look of the district, the NCD. Neighborhood Conservation District. So additional design standards apply in these districts. So this pretty much means if you want to go pull a permit to like if your house is in a historical district or in a conservation district, they want to keep the look of those neighborhoods the same. Right? Keep the charm of that neighborhood. You go into a historic district, you start dropping all these contemporary looking, sleek, modern homes, and change up the whole charm of the neighborhood. So they'll keep certain areas designated like, nope, you can't do that. If you want to go pull a permit for siding or roofing, and it's historic, it goes through another process. And this is usually within every city too. Each city has its own historic preservation district, so they want to keep it looking the same. So let's say you pick up a house and your plan was, I want to drop new siding on it, and a new roof, and do this and do that. But it's in a historic district or an NCD district. Just know, I gotta keep it looking. I can put new stuff on, but I got to keep it looking old. Does that make sense? And I can put new stuff on, but I got to keep it looking old, the old charm. I can't come with the new this or a metal roof, right? Or it's just stick within whatever's in that district. So this was Shadewell. 408 Shadewell. So that's the zoning. Okay, now we know the zoning. We can check that off. Okay, that's the Z. Let's go back to that list, right here, here we go, and let's look for exemptions. Okay, let's look for exemptions next. If I scroll down a little bit, you'll see a little thing here that says exemptions. See it? If this has HS, that stands for homestead. It stands for homestead. That means choose your redemption. Choose your redemption period. If we see the HS or homestead. Some counties it'll say homestead, some counties it'll just be HS. But it'll say HS in the Bear County one. If we see nothing, if it is blank, no exemption, 6 months. 6 month redemption period. There are no exemptions on the property right now. It's a 6 month redemption period. Here we go after that. Here we go after that. Okay. So now we know the E. on this. There are no exemptions. I stand in my little e-box. Cool. And now that is telling me, hey man, 6 months or 2 years. What do I have to work with here before I can go ahead and sell this property if I want to sell it or borrow against it? Right? I mean, it's ours. We get the deed. It's ours. We get possession. We can rent in it. We can live in it. I mean, we can do certain rehabs, right? We talked about the certain rehabs we can do that in the free workshop. But yeah, so once we get that deed, we're rocking and rolling. I mean, if there's a tenant in there, right then and there, you could do two things. You could either do the pay to move eviction that we talked about, or if they got a good plan worked out, like let's say you go and you're like, hey, what are you paying the rent? They're like, oh, I'm paying $800. You're okay with, hey man, are you happy in the house? You're like, yeah, I'm great. I don't want to move. And you're okay with not doing anything and just starting the $800 passive income off of it? Take it. That's up to you, right? Or if you want to get them out. But at that point, it's totally up to you what you want to do. You could say, hey, look, well, I'm the new landlord. Here's my new lease agreement. I'll keep it at $800. I require a deposit of 2 months' rent, which is $1,600. You may not have that right now, but let's spread it out over the next, I don't know, 60 days, three months, whatever you want to do. Right? At that point, you pick what's your best strategy. Do I want to remove the tenant, right? Maybe fix up the home a little nicer, and ask more rent? Or am I like, hey, there's already a tenant in there. I asked them, is there anything wrong with the property? You're going to do your own inspection, of course, too, but they're happy. They don't want to move. They're telling me they'll pay the $800. They're telling me, hey, we'll give you the deposit too since you're the new landlord. Just give us, a little bit of time. Maybe you just keep them in place. Right. Up to you. You keep them in place for a year and then decide what you want to do after that. But at that point, you're already getting $800 a month automatic. $1,000, whatever they were currently paying already. So that, or you can just evict them if you want. Do the pay to evict option first, right? That'll save you time, headaches, some money. You can just get them out on and everybody walks away happy, right? Nobody feel like nobody got screwed out of that deal. Okay, next is accessibility. So we want to make sure that the land that we're looking at or the house we think we're looking at is accessible. We can actually get to it. It's actually something, right? We don't want it to be a big piece of land, because I've seen this done before, where it was like 2 acres for sale. But the 2 acres were all surrounded by other people's properties. You couldn't access that 2 acres. Somebody bought it. They spent, went on it a lot. I remember that. I know that driven up. 2 acres in South San Antonio. But there was no way to access the land. That was a big example. I stay away from those, because, I had people ask me about that one. Hey, well, do you think you could ask one of the other property owners, could I access your land to get to that one? You could ask. You could try that. I mean, you could. If it were me, I'd say no. I don't want just random people always driving on my land to get to their land. Like, no, I like my privacy. I live out in the country. I would say no. I don't know. Maybe somebody else would say yes. But I would think the majority of the time somebody's going to be like, no, I'm okay. No, you can't use my property now. At that point, maybe you say, what if I pay you rent? Or if I pay you for a land usage fee or something, Maybe. You could. I stay away from those. That was an example where I'm thinking that that's what they're going to try to do because it was 2 acres, right? So that, or when other people tell me, well, you could try to sell it to the other owners there around it. You could. At that point, I would say, how are you going to get to it? How are you going to get to it? And I'm already using it, right? Like, because I've seen that too, stuff that's inaccessible like that you can get to. The other people who have access to it, they're already eating up all that land. They're already doing stuff on it. They got a shed on it. You know what I mean? And you're like, hey, get that off my land. Well, they're going to be like, how you going to get to it? You're going to go through my land to get to there? Try it. Right? Like, you're not. So they kind of own it already. That's why if it doesn't have access to it, doesn't have streets to it or a road to it, and you can't access it, it's not a good thing. How we check the accessibility and whether we can get to it is we're going to go to the map view right here. You click on the map. Did it go to that for you? Okay, sometimes it times out if you So we'll click refresh. We'll go back again. Refresh this page. And then now see if the map lets us go. Cool. Yeah, sometimes it just times out. You just have to go back, refresh the page, and then go to map. Okay, so when I look at this, it highlights it for me. There's it right here. Boom. So I can see that it's right off of Shadewell, right? There's other streets here. It's not something that's inaccessible. Try to see if I can find an example here. Okay, but the map shows us it's on the street, shows the house there, shows the structure in the back, which I don't know what it is right now. We'll look in depth a little more, what it was listed as. It'll tell us on the thing whether it was a shed or it could have been another living area. We'll be able to see right now on the thing. But okay, accessibility. It passes that. It tells me, yeah, I have access to it. Yes. Cool. So my Z is good. My E is good. My A is good. Location. Okay, now let's move on to the L for location. Now, in real estate and everything, or whatever, you always say location, 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 right? You want to buy stuff that's in appreciating areas, in good areas. You don't want to buy out in the middle of nowhere where we can't sell land or it's not marketable. So let's see where this one is at. Now, I would say everything within San Antonio right now, probably a good place to be because you always need renters. You always need renters. Yep, so I just ran a Google map search, and I want to get an idea of kind of what area this is located in within San Antonio. Oh, wait, Shadewell. Okay, so I know this area pretty well. Okay. Yeah, okay. Pancake Joe's. Okay, so my dad lived on Donaldson for a while. I was here when my grandma grew up. My grandma lived around this area. My dad lived on Donaldson right here with his second wife. I remember that. I used to go to Longfellow Middle School, which is somewhere right in here. There it is, boom. I went to Longfellow a little while. I used to hoop right here at Joe Ward all the time. Okay, this is my childhood kind of. Yeah, so this is out, this isn't a bad area. It's like a, I'd say, Class B neighborhood. Some pockets of it are really nice. It's some nice houses in this area. Like Woodlawn, kind of north of Woodlawn area. Anyways, okay, 408 Shadewell. You know where Jefferson High School is?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's like right in that neighborhood. Yeah, right in that neighborhood. So, not a bad house at all. And now this is what the picture shows, right? It's right now. Now, one thing you'd be like, oh man, well it looks okay. I'm okay with it. I'm just gonna depend on this photo. Doesn't need some. I'm just gonna depend on this photo for it. I would never do that. I mean, this photo is from August 2022. Yep, from August 2022. Since then, it's been 5 months. Anything could have happened from now till then. That thing could have burned down. They could have went and demoed it. It could have been on a demo block, and so the county went and demoed it. The city demoed it. It could be run by favorites. It's hard to tell anything from just a picture. It just gives me an idea. I'm just getting an idea of the neighborhood, what it potentially could look like. That's all I'm getting from this right now. Still today, I'm not, if this were just when I'm running my deals, this is what I'm doing like a week after the list comes up. Right now, I'm still not going to go look at it. Still looks good, but I'm going to wait still to that Thursday or Friday before the auction to actually go look at it. Because it could still get removed. right? And then why would I even go look at it? Wouldn't even matter what's there. Well, I'll still wait before I go do my late work day, my field day. Well, this is all still just done right here. We're doing it right here. So that's my location. Now, let's see the square footage on this home. This is where we go right into size next. So let's go back to that, our BCAD info right here where the map is. Let's go back to this. So it's giving us all this real good info. If we scroll down a little more, it's going to tell us improvement or building. This tells us how big the structures are on the land, as far as what the county has listed there. So it has a living area, which is 1,398 square feet. It was built in 1940. It has an attached open porch. It's probably what we saw in the front. That was also built in 1940, 48 square feet. Has a terrace with a cover, built 1940, 1940. Okay, so all this was built original with the home, it seems. These are the square footages of them. They have a shed on there, which is 100 square feet, so a little 10 by 10 shed. And then they have a detached garage, which is that other thing we saw in the picture on the map view. In the back, 504 square feet. So you got a little double car garage in the back. So that's what they're being taxed on. County taxes on all this. But that's what's there. Okay. So as far as size, now I'm going to write the size down. I have a 1,398 square foot home. It's the living area. Okay, living area. And a detached garage is nice to have. So I'm also going to put there a detached garage, double car. All right, I have no idea the condition of either one of these, right? We don't. So we actually go look at them and do all that. But for right now, I'm not going to go do all that homework on it and go spend an hour doing an inspection or however long it takes if this thing potentially could get to it. But I'm not going to do it right now. But I got my size of that, size of the home, and then the next thing I want to get the size on is the land that it sits on. So if you go down, the next one says land. And we see here, this is an 8,500 square foot lot. It has, so when we see front and depth, this means in the front it's 68 feet, and the depth, how far back the lot goes, is 125 feet. Okay, so when we go back and look at that map view, 68 by 125, we go back and look at this map. Oh. 68 in the front, by 125 in the back. You got a pretty big piece of land. You got a nice big backyard. You know, and this area does have that. This area does have big plots. You know. 8,500 square feet, nice sized yards. About this area. Single family homes. Okay. So now we know the size of the lot. We know the size of the home. All right, this is good because this is now going to help us to go see what other homes right in that neighborhood, according to that size, kind of are going for. All right, so we'll go look at some comps. We're going to look at some comps, some comparables. So then, okay, cool. I got my zoning. I got my exemption. I got my accessibility. I got my location. I got my size. Everything right now, if I'm looking to pick up a house, like a rental house, so I'm okay, this is good. I like everything here. This minimum bid probably is way too high. I don't think anybody will bid on this, but I'm not sure. Because right now you got to come out $87,000 just for the house alone. It's a lot. It's a high minimum bid. So for me, I would have bid on this one. Right? We've done all that work, obviously, but I just wanted you to go through it. But for me, starting at 87, I'm probably not going to buy it. Even if there's some equity in there, which we'll see right now if there's some spread after rehab. We'll see if it's in there. But I mean, I wouldn't, and I wouldn't just because even if there's money in it, I just know there's better deals. I know there's houses that start at 17,000, right? 27,000. There's some on this list right now. We'll look at them. But uh, if something is at 87, I'm already out. I wouldn't even research that further. So that's your other thing too. Is you might like a house, you might see it, like, oh man, it's a good neighborhood. I like it. You know, but if the minimum bid is way higher than you know you're willing to invest in, at that point, right? Unless, unless you got some partners. Unless you got some partners, right? Unless you got some partners, and now you're bringing more money to the table, or some private investors, some private people are willing to invest in you on these properties and know that there's a redemption period, and you know what I mean? Know all this. Um, but let's run it still. Let's continue with this one, and let's see what other houses around this size would go for this neighborhood. So this is at 408 Shadewell. So we can just go to simple Zillow, a bunch of sites where you can just look up properties for sale. 408 Shadewell, 78228. There it is. Boom. Three-bedroom, one bath. Zillow has its estimate at about 159,000. They're usually, right in there. Right in there. Let's see. Let's see what else is for sale. Missing over here. So I'll just filter properties for sale, 3 bedrooms. I want to try to find something as close as possible in this area, but let's go out a little bit. There's a 4-bedroom, 2 bath for 215. That has an extra bedroom though and an extra bath. Go for 215. There's a 4-3 on Donaldson. Cool. 350. 40,000 is pretty 4-2. Okay. There's a 3-2 over 295. Look at this real quick. Because it's a 3-1 right now. And let's say you say like, man, you want to jump up and try to ask some of these other fools are asking. You definitely want to add another bathroom. So like, let's say your ultimate goal is going to be to flip it, right? To flip it. And it's a 3-1. Probably want to add a bathroom. Right, 3-2s all day long. They're good. 3-2s, 4-2s. But we definitely want to add another bathroom if it were a 3-1, which is what this one is, right? What this one is. So keep that in mind. But look, 295. I don't know if they're going to get this. I'll look at some more things. So they just listed it, 2 days. Had a good amount of views. Had 11 saves. Getting some traction, probably getting some viewings. Take a look at how they did it in the inside. Got some flooring, painted the walls gray and white, of course. Recessed lighting. I've kept the original hardwood floors in some of the bedrooms, which are pretty in a lot of these older houses, right? So that Shadewell one we're looking at probably has the original hardwood floors. Here they ran flooring in the living room, but they brought out the bedroom real nice. See, for the bedroom, all they did was probably resand the floors, throw some new stain and seal on them. New trim, repainted the walls, probably shot some texture or something. Kept the same, these are original closet doors. Any bug don't fix it. That's probably the same fan or basic thing. Yeah, this is probably the master, or maybe that's going into our laundry room or something. But it's not in that picture. But look, in the restroom, they kept it shit. They didn't do anything in the restroom. It's all original. It's pretty. It's clean. Don't get me wrong. It looks pretty. It looks clean. dropped a new pedestal, a new commode. Other than that, see, that's an old restroom with outdated tile on the floor. Kitchen, yeah, standard cabinets. I can't tell if that's faux countertop. But it doesn't look like. Might be for Mike, yeah. Appliances are white, a little older. So they cleaned it up, put some new paint, cleaned things up nice. But I mean, a lot of it is outdated or older, right? But after 295, they have some traction on it. This is not a bad area. I like this area. There's a 3-2 going for 210, 1,284 square feet. Ours is more square footage, but one less bathroom. Right, so adding a bathroom probably would be definitely a way to go with this one if you're going to pick it up. The 210. Here's a 3-1. Go further north. Built 1951, ours was built 1940. Most of these homes in this whole area were all built back, old. That's an older part of San Antonio. 238. This one's been up for 8 days. 911 views, 44 saves. This one's probably having showings already. It's getting traction. Sure. Cool. So what we want to do is we want to get kind of a price per square foot for all these homes that are very similar to the ones that we got, right? But some of these aren't fully renovated like that other one, but some are. So we want to get a price per square foot, and then we kind of just average out the numbers, right? What these are charging. Let's see what these are charging. This one was 146 a square foot. Right? 146 a square foot. So let's take 146 a square foot. Our house is 1398. Do times 146. You have a calculator? Do 1398, which is our square footage, and then multiply it by 146. Did I say divide? I'm sorry. 1398, and then multiply it by 146. Okay, so $203,816. Right? So if I'm pricing according to kind of this home, that other home's valued at about 203. Right, and I could do this for another one, kind of like, because that was a 3-1. That was 3-1. Good stuff, okay. So we can do this with houses active, and then we can do this with houses recently sold, right? Get these with a 3-2. Get an idea of what they're listing for, get an idea of what they're selling for per square foot. And then it'll give us a good idea of what ours could potentially sell for if we were to pick that one up. This one's going at 154 square foot. So give me, let's do it based off this. So give me 1398 times 154. Multiply by 154. 214. Okay, so this one's giving us about 215,000. It's a little more square footage, but remember the cool thing about this other one though is we also have a detached garage. Right? We have a 2-car garage, so we got 2-car garage, and then we got the 1,400 square feet of living. But we want to do this with houses in the neighborhood that are currently listed and then some that have recently sold. Like recent, nothing like from 2020, because from 2020 there were more. And then we won't know like a range of what we could ask for if we renovated this home, what we'd be able to sell it for. So let's see, 154 was one, another one was telling me 146. I can average the two or take the number in the middle, and I say, okay, about 150 per square foot. 150 per square foot is what I could, what I could try to sell this home for. Afterwards. So give me 1398 times 150.
400.
Alright, so we'll list it for 215. Right. We list it for 215, 220. Okay. Let's say ultimately we're able to get, let's say, let's say we list it for 210, and that's the average is kind of what's around there, but let's say we list for 210, let's say we got a sale for 200. Let's say we got a sale for 200. So we try to sell it for 2. It started at auction at 87. If we were to say full rehab based off the square footage, it's hard to say because we got to go look at it, right? I know it needed a roof, looked like it needed siding, looked like it needed everything. Rehab on a house that size, I'm looking at about 45 to 50K. 45 to 50K. All right. So let's say 50,000 would be our rehab. House starts at 87. Let's say we bid it. I don't think anybody's gonna. And we'll see on Tuesday. We'll see what happens. But if somebody does decide to buy it, and it might be a group that goes in there and buys it, they might pick it up and drag that thing up to like 105. Right? I drag it up to like 105. So they buy it for 105, 50 in rehab. So they're all in 155,000. They're all in 155,000 on it. Over our numbers, even if we settled on 200, selling it, we still made 45 in there. Picking it up at 105, putting 50 into it, right, based off the area. So if anybody, I don't think so. I could be wrong. I don't think so. But if anybody does go in there and buy it, it'd probably be a group, or a couple partners that go in there and buy that one, pick it up, and take it up to like 105. I would say people are there, and it will go for about 105. 50 rehab, 155 all in. We'd still make like 45. I remember you still can't sell it today though. That's today's numbers. After the redemption period clears in 6 months, I don't know what could happen in the next 6 months. Right now it's crazy, but I know that this still. Let's say the market were still to go down. I mean, the house I'm all in on for 155. I don't think the market's going to go down in this neighborhood 50, 60, 70,000 for the next 6 months, where I'm going to be in the negative. Right? No matter what, in 6 months, even if 6 months, let's say home prices still start to go down, which they already have, and they've been going down. Let's say they still continue on that trend for the next 6, 8, 10 months. And then let's say now we're looking at this 8 months from now wanting to sell, and now everything's at 180 for the neighborhood. I could still be like, oh shit, that sucks. I mean, for one, I wouldn't go up to 105. That's why I said this one on my end I'm out. I'm not even looking at this house because it's starting too high. There's better spreads at tax deeds, way better ones. Is this one still a winner? I mean, yeah, I could take it up to 105. Shit, it's still a winner, right? Got to go look at it, make sure it's not a full teardown. But it's probably about 50K rehab. Still a winner, picking it up at 105. But even if the market were to still continue on its downward trend, and let's say the home values, in 8 months are 180, I'm still 25 in the positive. Right, at that point, I would probably just rent it. I wouldn't even look to sell if it continues on its downward trend. I'll start to rent it. Rentals in this area are probably going for about $1,600 a month, $1,500 a month. I'll take that, which is still a $1,500 a month. We're getting $18,000 a year on that house, and you own it. You still pay taxes and insurance, right? So I mean, if worse comes to worse, you still just rent it, and you're still getting after taxes and insurance every month. If you're charging $1,500 a month, $1,600 a month, you're still taking home after that about $1,000 a month. That's yours. That's profit. Right? Um, like I said, but that's way too high. See, that's why it's way too high. Right? But now let's say I picked up this home for, 'cause there will be these out there where you're picking them up for 30, 40, 50, 60. Right? If I picked up this home for 60, which is very realistic, even lower, but if I pick it up for 60, let's say, and now I put 50 in it, now I'm all in 110. I get 200 for the home today, 9,000 bucks. In 8 months, 6 months, who knows? Could go down, but could go back up. Right? We could see this and then a rebound. This has been going down for a while now, the housing market. The interest rates are, and that's what dictates everything, right, is the interest rates. They're forecasting the interest rates hopefully to come down maybe towards the end of 2023, mid-2023, maybe some adjustments starting to be made. Hard to tell, right? It's hard to tell. But that's what's great about tax deeds is you don't got to buy this house starting at 87. It's way too high, right? But let's continue on this list. So that kind of right there, that whole process we just pulled, the deals with that one property, looking up other houses, per square footage, seeing what they're going for, seeing that, and then, assessing a rehab value to it. That's kind of all the work we can do right here. Right here. And I know it seems like forever because we're going through each one of it step by step, but once you get this down, you'll open that up real quick. You'll see all the deals within 2 minutes. Then you'll jump over to a neighborhood. You'll run the comp. Boom, boom. You'll get a quick idea. I mean, you'll do each property within 5 to 7 minutes. You have a good idea of each property real quick. And the more you start to do this, you'll know specific areas. You know what I mean? You'll know, okay, boom, this is Woodlawn. Okay, this is Dignity Hill. Okay, this is south of Southtown. Okay, this is Shearer Hills. You'll know all these pockets of to where you already kind of know what houses and rents and areas already go for because you do it so much. You do it so much. But let's go down another list here. Blaine, I believe this is just a lot. 78202. Let's run we're going to run the Zeals on Blaine because it's just a lot. I want us to do that, but I just want to look at here like, okay, here's 2615 Leal. So this house is starting at 17,000. This is Leal. Okay, then there's San Eduardo, another lot. Something here. So yeah, I want to look up one of these lots right now. We're on the deals on the lot. There's 5318 Natho. It's new. What's wrong with that one? I remember. Hill. Woodby Court. This is a good piece of land right here, right outside of downtown. Really good piece of land. If you were looking to just pick up land, this would be one. It's zoned single family right now too, but in that area they're starting to do more multifamilies. You can get that rezoned to multifamily. You could drop something nice on there. An 8-door little loft or something. Anyways, there's Floss starting at 37,000. Hart starting at 84. What's going to throw high? Big Meadows. This one was interesting. Did you look at Big Meadows? It was very interesting. Now this one, I guarantee this one will get bought up by somebody. And they'll take this one up to 120, 130 because of the area where it's at. Oh yeah, this is a nice neighborhood right here, Big Meadows. I meant to go look at it last week. I might try to get up there and look at it this week. Was it? Okay. Yep. So yeah, I definitely added another bathroom to this one. If you were going to sell it, now if you were just going to keep it as a rental, you might say, if I'm going to keep it as a rental, could I get more rent? To compare, you could solicit as a 3-1, ask a certain amount that you want, and if you get it, you don't need to add another bathroom, right? Take some of that money, so to recoup some of that money back, right? And the money you're making back on it could pay for the the restroom you want to throw in a year from now. You know what I mean? And then your tenants are paying for the rehabs. You know, they say, hey, I'm throwing another bathroom. You know, raise rent. Something like that. But yeah, that one was interesting. Big Meadows. Here, let's go to 2 real quick. I was in the cold. Did I look at this thing? I don't think I looked it down, but maybe Columbus deals on that one too. Here's Kentucky. Kentucky was just land. I think this is over by St. Mary's. I think it's by St. Mary's University. But yeah, no, I mean, that area, yeah. F Street, that's on the east side. Barnes, this is a good one too. Oh, this is a real good one. Did you look at this one?
No.
Oh man, okay, so this one is in, once again, the most desired zip code in San Antonio, 78209, but it's not really in the nicest part of 78209. It's actually on the outs. It's in the zip code, but it's not in Alamo Heights. But the values there are still high, even for this house. You know, you still get like 260, 280. Yeah, I mean, look, the county has a value at 243, and that's probably last year's. But this one's starting at 41. This is a real nice one too. We're gonna go look at this one next week also. That we cover. Yeah, we cover that tomorrow on how that'll go. So right now we're just, because before we even go do any of that, I want to make sure it passes these. If it passes these, cool. Then I can really get into that back tax work that I still saved though that for Thursday, Friday, the week before. I wanted to pass these first, because it passes these. Okay, cool. I don't even got to go anywhere. I don't got to do anything. And then I'll look at that Thursday, Friday before the auction. My properties are still there. Cool. Now I'm going to go do that final piece of work. And that's more of what we'll cover tomorrow too. That legwork day, the back taxes, the suit, the inspection, all that. But this one was a good one too. I think I ran the zeros on it, and this one was nice. Good area. Like I said, it's not. It would be great if it was within the Alamo Heights School District. It's not. It's right outside the boundary lines. So one of the reasons people go to that area is for the schools, right? Right. Yep. That's what I mean. My son goes there, and it is good schools. It's but it's like rich people, right? Super rich folks, old money. But this is right outside the boundary lines. If it were inside the boundary lines, man, this would be a killer pickup too. It's still not bad because it's still in a cool area, good area. There's a lot there to do there. It's right outside of Alamo Heights. Still a great home to pick up, especially starting at 41. There's a lot to be made on it. I haven't seen it yet. It could be burned down. It could not be there, but it looks like it's there from everything that we look at. Okay. Well, let's go back to Blaine real quick. Let's run our zeals on Blaine. Do you need a break or anything? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, here, let me get you the... Okay, people. Thank you for tuning in. Those of you that did, I hope you got some useful information from it. But I'm gonna log off now. We're gonna work more privately here and go into detail on some things on specific strategy for the investor here. But the course is still available for $97 to the end of the month. Everything that I'm covering here and doing is within the course. Obviously, when you're working with me one-on-one or in Zoom or in person, there's a lot more knowledge you get from just everything that I know as far as my contractor background, my investor background, working and doing this, all these processes that I've gone through already, trial, error, success, failures. It's all in there. So if you're interested in like the Zoom stuff or working one-on-one like this, you can go ahead and reach me or DM me. The best way to reach me is 210-767-CASA. Just send me a text. Let me know you'd like to schedule a call, and we can do that. Once again, that's 210-767-CASA, 2272. 210-767-2272. You can text me anytime. And I'll get back with you. We'll schedule a call and see if it's something that will benefit you. I never want you to invest in the education if you're not even ready to do that, or if this strategy isn't the best for you. It's just one way to do it. It's the way I like to do it. It's a great way to pick them up. Great rate of returns on these. Yeah, it's real nice. So if you're interested, do that. I'm going to log off now, but thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to me.